Should I start with an interesting one or a tragic one?
Let's start with the bad news first.
All right. So a lot of people have seen this story about the passing of a LSU receiver, Kyron Lacy.
Mm-hmm.
Kyron Lacy was 24, receiver at LSU. Jaden Daniels was tight with him. Apparently, he went to Instagram and had a reaction to the passing of one of his close friends. But Lacy was about to be on trial, right?
Yeah, because he was involved with a traffic collision,
fatal car
in
accident
January.
Yeah,
I think it was January 10th. And he passed another car, sped by him, and it caused a head-on collision, and a 78-year-old passenger died.
Right, it killed a 78-year-old man.
Yep. And he fled the scene. Lacy fled the scene, didn't call 911, and he was arrested 2 days later.
And so Lacy committed suicide, which is terrible.
Yes. He's obviously had some issues.
He was, the sheriff's office said it was called out to a weapons disturbance from a relative of Lacy.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he discharged the weapon, got into his vehicle, was pursued by authorities for, I think it was 15 or 20 minutes.
Right.
And then he crashed. And then when they came upon the crash scene, they realized he had shot himself in the car before they could get to him.
During his 2 years playing with Jaden, he caught 54 passes, 826 yards, and 7 touchdowns.
Right.
So
yeah, it's tragic.
Big part of that offense, friends with Jaden Daniels, and then just unfortunately has this situation.
And I think that
decides to commit suicide.
Lacy's dad had, I don't know if it was on social, but he said you just need to stay in touch with your kids because you never know what's going on in their heads, especially if you don't see them or talk to them for a while.
Young parents, start talking to your kids at a very early age and make sure they are confident and comfortable confiding in you. Mm-hmm. Don't be cool with I'm all right or I'm good when you know deep down something isn't right. And he went on and on.
Sad story.
Yep.
Very sad.
Very sad.
And I don't know where Lacy was projected to go in the draft.
Not sure.
I know he was at the combine. And, he probably would have been drafted by somebody. But although who knows about what would have happened with the
legal case.
The legal case, yeah, he might have gone to jail. But it's tragic.
And imagine even if like the trial went his way, just living with killing somebody else.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure that probably played a big role in him deciding to kill himself. He probably had a lot of guilt from killing that person in an auto accident.
Yeah.
I mean, some of his actions right afterwards didn't seem like, he caused a hit and run, fled the scene, had to be apprehended later. But I mean, if you're involved in an accident that winds up killing somebody, I'm guessing most people are going to have that guilt on their conscience. It's a tough thing to move past.
I'm sure he was tight with Malik Neighbors. I'm sure he was tight with Brian Thomas from Jacksonville. Yeah. Yep. I mean, a lot of guys are probably affected by it, including Jaden. So we got that, out there. So,
all right. So the interesting one, I think will make Cakes happy, is apparently Ryan Fitzgerald is one of the top kicking prospects out of college. Was a kicker for Florida State, and he's drawing serious interest from NFL teams ahead of the draft. One of those teams that apparently will have a kicking session with is the Washington Commanders.
I mean, it just makes all the
sense. He had a private
in the world.
workout with the Patriots. He's also looking to do a private session with the Ravens.
I mean, I know they re-signed Zane Gonzalez to a 1-year deal, but how confident can you be in him? You should always have competition up and down your roster, not just a kicker.
Well, the Commanders used Cade York last year. They used Greg Joseph. They used obviously Austin Seibert.
Yep.
And Zane Gonzalez.
I mean, I'd argue Seibert was the main guy.
He used four kickers in games.
Seibert was very good up until he got injured, and he was the one that missed the extra point against the Cowboys. Correct? That was Seibert. That was a Seibert miss.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, that was a brutal miss.
So they're not completely 100% sold on Zane.
I mean, nor should you be.
Yeah, and Fitzgerald was a really good kicker in college. I think I have his stats here in front of me. He made, let's see, he made 78% of his actual field goal attempts and 98% of his extra points. Now the extra points are a lot closer,
right?
But 58 of his 74 field goal attempts, including a 59-yarder. So he's one of the best kickers in the country.
The Seibert thing is mysterious to me because, all right, he was injured, and to me, Zane Gonzalez was like the Band-Aid for Seibert, right? And then Zane Gonzalez didn't even hit that many field goals if you look towards the end of the season. Seibert was 27 for 30 in 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
He was 8 for 8 on 40 to 49-yard field goals, so it wasn't just gimmies. Now, he had a bunch of chip shots in there, too. Now, his weakness was the over 50, where he was 2 for 5. But those were his only misses. And then you throw in, I guess, the extra point. He did miss 2 of those.
Oh, he missed 2 in that game.
2 in that game?
I don't know if it was just in that game. He was 22 for 24 on extra points.
Okay.
Anyway, I thought, look, they were all Band-Aids in reality because of what happened with McManus. You're sleeping, it all started with McManus.
That's true.
McManus, and then Cade York and Joseph and Seibert, and might even be missing one.
So I'm reading
like there was 5
from PFF. Seibert returned.
Greg Joseph.
Seibert came back for the Week 12 game against the Cowboys. He missed a field goal and both extra point attempts.
Yeah, you're missing.
Game.
You're missing, and I might be wrong, but it was like a Middle Eastern guy.
Yeah, but I don't think he actually kicked in a game.
No, but he was on the roster for a while.
Yeah, I'm
forgetting his name. He was like training camp fodder.
His name's right there in my brain, but I can't quite pull it.
I want to say he kicked in the preseason.
I think you're right. But he only lasted like a day.
But you can't use one. Like, they don't have many picks. They can't use a pick on a kicker, can they?
No.
They're not going to do that.
You don't burn like a 5th, 6th or 7th round pick on a kicker. You find those guys out on the street. How many times? I've been saying this for years.
I know, but if you can get
These guys are so expendable, or I thought they were easy to find. Apparently not as easy to find as I thought. Kickers are expendable. Adam Peters is not going to start burning draft capital on kickers and punters. If he does, I'm going to start raising an eyebrow. I'm going to put him in the crosshairs if he starts doing that.
I realized that they had to make a move because of what happened with Brandon McManus. But I think he had a pretty good year when Green Bay signed him.
He did have a good year.
So he certainly would have been
their numbers, but he was pretty good from what I remember.
He would have been your guy for Commanders fans. He would have been your guy.
Sleeping on Ramiz Ahmed.
I am officially sleeping on him. You're correct.
How about Riley Patterson?
That name definitely rings a bell too.
I'm just going back to what they were doing. Cade York, Ramiz Ahmed, Riley Patterson, they were brought in. Man.
Yeah, Patterson might have kicked in the preseason. Or maybe just in camp.
I don't know. I could see you using like a 6th round pick, Cakes. If you're getting like the best collegiate kicker who you believe is going to be your kicker for the future.
All right, maybe a late round pick. Maybe I could live with that. By the way, McManus...
I'm not saying be like the Raiders who took Janikowski in the 1st round.
McManus was 95%. Now he started in late October.
11 games.
95% of his kicks.
So he made...
Okay, but Seibert was right there.
He missed 1 field goal, and he made every extra point.
Right.
He was pretty damn good.
He was very good. And I think the Packers gave him like a long-term deal. I think toward the end of the year, he signed an extension with them.
Yeah.
They're like, we're not letting you go.
Well, look, he would have been the guy, but they had to make a move. I get it. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see if Zane can last the entire season. I would bet not. But we'll see who they bring in. Maybe it's this Fitzgerald kid.
And then if it doesn't work out, you bring back a donk like Seibert.
Yeah, then you just
because there'll be guys out there. I mean, remember Seibert had 7 field goals in one game.
You bring back just one of the litany of recycled kickers that are always looking for gigs. Just figure it out. Adam Peters, figure out the kicking situation.
Well, they thought they had it figured out.
Well,
they did.
Apparently it's not figured out.
Do you have a vibe at all as to what Peters is going to do next Thursday?
No. You know why? Because he doesn't tip his hand like guys in the past that used to work here.
I thought your vibe was he was going to trade down.
I think he's going to trade out of the 2nd round pick. I think he's going to keep the 1st round pick. I think he's going to move off 61, which is their 2nd round pick.
Isn't it crazy? The NFL draft is
10 days away.
basically a week away.
Yep.
Crazy.
It's not as much buzz because other things have kind of supplanted it on the sports calendar.
Well, there's also less buzz because they're not picking number 2
they're picking
overall.
29. Yeah, I mean
that's why there's less buzz.
That's all we were talking about last year.
Yeah, they're not picking
every
in the
single
top
day.
5. Picking at 29 is boring, but that's the offshoot of having a playoff team, which is great. You'll take that trade 10 times out of 10.
I mean, usually we do a mock draft here on the show,
right?
Because the Commanders are picking in the top 10 or close to it.
Mm-hmm.
They're picking 29. I don't think we can do one this year.
Remember when we would do the mock drafts with people from each of the cities leading up to the Commanders pick? Imagine if we did it when they were 29. Oh, the nightmare draft would have to deal with.
Producers would be scrambling. Matt and Matt, they would just be.
But we would do it when the Commanders picked like 12th or 13th.
They'd be doing fireball shots by about the 15th or 16th pick.
All right, got to take a break. If you want to chime in, you can always hit us up at Junks Radio on Twitter or give us a call at 800-636-1067.